What's up, everyone? Christian Duke, StrengthAddicts.com here at the man, Steve Weingarten's Brick House Bodybuilding Gym in Louisville, Kentucky. Steve, how's it going, man?
Doing great. How are you?
Very, very good. We just interviewed Neil Miller, who killed it, getting 4 swords, one of your guys, of course, and your team did fantastic at Brent Jones Kentucky Derby Festival Classic. So tell us a little bit about the show.
Oh, it was a great show. We had 5 people compete. They did wonderfully. We cleaned up with men's classic physique overall. Neil won men's classic masters physique. He also won open lightweight bodybuilding. He also won masters bodybuilding. We had Gerwan Brewer, new competitor, brand new competitor, looked fabulous. He got 2nd place in his class in men's physique. We had Nicole Henson. This was her first show. She got 2nd one of her classes in bikini, was probably at least one of the, if not the most conditioned bikini competitors there. We had Carrie Locke, who was doing her 2nd show with me, I believe. She got a 2nd place. So we did really well. I was very happy.
Look at you, man. You're like, shoot them off. You know your whole team. Robbie Tyler said you'd kill it, and you're killing it, man. You're doing a great job. So talk to us a little bit about this gym behind us, because, I mean, you've got, I mean, I was talking to you during the process of building it. Every single piece of equipment here has been handpicked by you. Everything is top-notch, the sturdiest stuff. I mean, this has got to be a labor of love for you.
It's absolutely a labor of love. I started conceiving this gym quite a few years ago. When my wife bought this house, we realized that we had the space in here. This is a secondary garage at our house, and it was originally a 4-car garage. We realized we had the space to build a gym. So I started conceiving it, and I started putting it together about 2.5 years ago. I had specific ideas in mind of what I wanted. I wanted an old school gym. I wanted it to be like the factory, you know, an old school gym, but there were very specific pieces of equipment I was looking for that I knew existed because I've been doing this for so long. I wanted a lot of original Flex Fitness pieces. I wanted a lot of original Hammer pieces. I wanted a lot of original Nautilus pieces. I'm talking about the original Nautilus that Arthur Jones made. So everything in here is for that purpose.
Fantastic, fantastic. And so do your clients get to train in here at all?
Yeah, they train here. I designed this for me, and I designed this for my competitor clients, particularly those where we want to work on a weak point. I have different machines and things in here for every part of the body. So if I have a client with a particular weak point, we focus on that. I've got a few clients who train with me regularly once or twice a week in here.
And I have to say too, I mean, and again, I know this is an awkward statement to make to someone, but you are truly one of the most underrated coaches, I believe, because I mean, I think what you bring to the table, you know, and Neil's here to my right, and I'm sure he'd agree. You know, you bring the training, you bring the diet and natural supplementation, and not only that, but you know how to fix mistakes. I think that's truly the sign of a great coach, is when a competitor, for whatever reason, they deviate from the plan, or maybe their body's not responding, you know how to fix that. And I think that's what separates you from a lot of the wannabes.
You learn that over time. I mean, in my early days of coaching, I didn't know how to fix mistakes. You don't, but you learn that over time. I'm a perfectionist, what can I say? I keep trying to learn more and more. I'm still learning. I don't believe I know it all, not even close.
Right. And see, that's the thing, it's a very vain industry, and you're a very humble person, and a person of very few words. So if I was you, I'd be living it up. I'd be saying, I'm the coolest thing since sliced bread. You cannot.
Honestly, I don't spend that much time on social media. I post my clients. You don't see me posting much about myself. So this is kind of weird for me. I post my clients. I post their successes. I post their pictures. Unlike some of the younger coaches out there, I just don't spend that much time on social media. Maybe I should, but honestly, I'm busy working all the time.
Right.
I don't have the time for that.
And you have clients that have been with you for so long. I mean, I got to bring up Kevin. I mean, Kevin Johnson is top 5 in the
he's been with me since 2012. So he hired me originally to train him for the Kentucky State that year. He won. And then we progressed through the ranks. You know, he got his pro card, and now he's a really good pro. And so he's been with me for 9 years now, actually.
Absolutely. How has bodybuilding evolved in Kentucky over the last few years? And I know that your roots in the sport go back really decades, not to date you, but over the last...
I'm old.
But let's say over the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, how have you seen the sport evolve in Louisville, but also throughout the state?
Well, it's gone through various transitions in that time frame. I mean, when they brought in all the new categories, when they brought in men's physique some time ago, and they brought in women's bikini, so many people graduated to those categories because they were, quote, easier. So you saw a dropping off of the figure, you saw a dropping off in men's bodybuilding, right? But now, especially at this last show, everything was stacked. I mean, bodybuilding was so much fun at this show. There were so many great bodybuilders,
nice.
Not to mention classic physique and every other category. They were just stacked. So I think the answer to your question is, a few years ago, bodybuilding looked like it was dying out around here because everybody wanted to do everything else. Looks like it's making a big comeback.
Absolutely. And classic too. I mean, with Neil here and doing so well, and also you getting the overall as well. Classic just seems really, really big. I know judges expressed interest in that. A lot of people have expressed interest. Yes. It's a very, very beautiful division. It's an unusual adjective for like a alpha male sport, but it is beautiful because it's a throwback to the era of aesthetics and balance and flow, and actually presenting a physique in an entertaining kind of way.
Which is what I love because I grew up in that era. I mean, a lot of your young people now, they idolize the big, massive physiques, right? But I love the look. I mean, you can't beat somebody like Sean Ray or Lee Labrada, Frank Zane, Bob Paris, Kevin Levrone, who was a big guy, but man, his physique just flowed so well. Exactly. I love those physiques.
That's very cool. That's very cool. And so, with regards to coaching, I mean, there's like a little bit of a bombshell here that I have to ask you. We talked about off camera, and you said something that there's things that you that you know subconsciously, but that you don't actually really like reflect on. You pointed out that you never are backstage. And it took me a second, and I had to really
not
think
never.
about that.
Only if somebody needs me back there. If somebody requests me. Like one year, one of my clients was having a panic attack, so of course I went back.
Yeah, but you're not somebody that there's like pretty much every coach really is back there. But you watch the show from the audience. You like to see your competitors.
Yeah, I take a seat right behind the judges. Remember, I judged for 8 years too.
Right.
So I take a seat right behind the judges. I want to see my clients on stage as the judges see them. I want to see what we need to fix to make them even better. That's why I'm in the audience. I'm not backstage. The work is done. I'm sorry, there's not much you can do for your clients backstage at a show. The work is done. And I think my work speaks for itself. My people come on stage ready, right? There's nothing else I can do for them back there, right? I think honestly, a lot of times when coaches are backstage, there's an ulterior motive.
What is that?
I think a lot of them are back there to poach other people's clients. I know it happens.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I've spoken, in fact, just 3 weeks ago to Adam Atkinson. We spoke about this, and it's something that Ohio is. I don't want to too many specifics wind up in the trunk of a car, but it does happen, and it happens online a little bit, but for some reason it usually happens backstage.
I think it happens at the shows. I think it does. There's another coach who I think is. I always see him in the audience. I never see him go backstage. Mike Robinson, up in Ohio.
Right.
He's always in the audience with
Muscle
me.
Dog, yeah.
Yeah, Muscle Dog. And I remember. Do you know who Noel Fuller is? He's a coach. Okay, great
west,
coach. Great coach out west, right?
Yep.
He was here one year. His then wife was competing in the Kentucky Muscle in professional physique. Figure rather, and he was sitting right next to me in the audience. He never went backstage.
It's interesting too. Let me ask you about coaching etiquette for a second, and because I do think it's an interesting topic. Should coaches talk to other coaches' clients? I mean, like what's the protocol there? I mean, even for an innocent compliment or hey, you look. I mean, what's the or is that something that can hold off till after show, maybe on Facebook, or I mean, is it?
No, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I'll tell a competitor who's not my own how good they look. There's absolutely nothing wrong with speaking to another person's client. I got no issues with that at all.
What would you say is the correct protocol, though?
As far as
just backstage interaction, or just
I don't know that there is one. Just don't be poaching.
Right.
I don't know that there is an appropriate way. Just don't be poaching.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. Like, there's probably not like any real advice to give. Just don't be a jerk.
Don't be a putz.
Right. Exactly. And so, with regards to the shows coming up, I mean, there's so much stuff going on. I don't want to say that we're totally in the clear, but it feels a lot more normal than it did just 6 months ago.
I agree.
And now I think with all the gyms opening up also, you got the Open that's coming up in August, and I'm sure there's shows in Northern Kentucky, the Tricky, and there's just so much going on.
Coming up, yep.
Definitely. What about around the region? Do you encourage your competitors to compete? I don't know, Indiana?
Oh, sure.
Tennessee?
I've had people compete in Indiana. I've got people toying with the. I've had people compete in Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's just whenever somebody is ready to do a show. Sometimes you start a prep with the intention of doing a particular show, and you're just not ready. I don't like putting people on stage if they're not ready. So we'll find another show. It could be in Indiana. It could be in Tennessee. It could be further away.
For sure,
You know?
for sure. And then with regards to the future, though, what are some goals that you have for yourself? Obviously, the Brick House Bodybuilding Gym, this has been huge for you, and you've been able to get this off the ground, which is awesome. Your team keeps doing really, really well, and it's a really a quality thing, not a numbers thing, in my opinion. What are some goals that you have for yourself?
I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I want to keep riding this thing out. I'd like to build a bigger stable of IFBB pros, of course. Every coach wants to do that. I want to keep, and I should say, I enjoy working with newcomers as much as I enjoy working with established competitors. I enjoy bringing people up from the very bottom, getting them on stage for the first time, and making them better. I also like working with established competitors and making them better. I want to keep doing that as long as I can, as long as people want to work with me. I want to make my gym bigger. I plan to break down the front doors because there's more stuff I want, more toys I want in here. Definitely. So I plan to break down the front doors and expand out that way and get some more equipment in here. I mean, that's my answer to your question.
That's very cool. That's very cool. And I pointed this out earlier too, with respect to the seminar that Gary Udit's doing with Jimmy Hornbeck and Monica Hornbeck and the dudes and all that. And you're on there, pushing your folks to really, you said I want every single one of my clients at that posing seminar, which I think is great because they have something that Neil pointed out too, is that you give them so much support. You give them support beyond what most coaches do, which is training and supplements and that sort of thing, but you give them emotional support and you give them advice, which I think is really important.
Yeah, and sometimes that advice has nothing to do with bodybuilding,
right.
Sometimes you got to get them through some other rough spots. And as far as the posing clinic, as Jimmy Hornbeck says, I think I'm quoting him almost exactly, whenever you get a chance to put yourself in front of Gary Udit, you do it.
Absolutely.
Since he's going to be at that seminar, I would like my people to be there too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I really want to thank you for doing this. It was awesome. Always good seeing you. Very, very proud of your team. Expect good things at the shows to come. I hope to see you. Well, I won't be there because I'm not doing contest coverage anymore, but it would be great to know that you went to Pittsburgh. I think Neil and your team are going to get you there.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Even if they have to kidnap you, I think they're going to get you there. So hopefully make the rounds and hobnob with all the big wigs and all that, because you definitely belong up there. So for the great Steve Weingarten, this is Christian Duke from the Brick House Bodybuilding Gym in Louisville, Kentucky, StrengthAddicts.com.